The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5, a device I am positive on, a device overall I like, but the conversation as far as an upgrade from a Flip 4 has gotten a lot more complicated in the last couple of days as those promotional bonus offers for trade-ins have gone away. No longer will you get $900 if you trade in your Flip 4. You are now getting $600. And I think the reason why Samsung does that is because now they've allowed their carrier partners, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, to come in with their $1,000 off offers that they have there. Now, be careful with those, okay? Those are ones, and you'll see it in the fine print. I think T-Mobile locks you in for 24 months on bill credits. AT&T says, trade in any Galaxy and get $1,000 off. Yeah, I think that's 36 months of bill credits, and the same with Verizon. So if you have a plan currently that you're grandfathered in on, one that you like, make sure you don't lose that. If you're somebody who switches phones a lot, or if you switch carriers for work or whatever it happens to be, just keep that in mind, that if you take advantage of a carrier deal, that you're locked in for that amount of months in the fine print. So just do keep that in mind. If you're just looking to trade in your Flip 4 and only getting $600 for it at this point, that gets a lot tougher because the Flip 4 is still great, performance-wise, all the rest. Battery life is good, build is good, so I don't really see a lot of incentive or at least $400 difference between these two devices. And if you are going to upgrade, I do want to highlight the three main areas that I notice a difference on the Z Flip 5. The first one is the most noticeable one, is the external display. Now large, 3.6 inch, I believe, external display, 720p. It is nice. I believe it's 120 hertz refresh rate. So you get that as well. It's nice and smooth. The problem is that I feel like, I haven't enjoyed it as much as I thought I would, because the problem is it feels like a on-rails experience. Instead of, and like the Razr Plus, the outer display feels like a smaller version of the inner display. It's built to be used that way, where I have a full selection of apps here at my command. I could go ahead and it feels like a good experience overall on the display on the Razr Plus. On the Z Flip 5, it feels like the external display is just a larger version of the notification display that we've been used to on the Flip 3 and Flip 4. And I say that because when you boot it up and you start it and you're flipping through, it's those same widgets that you're used to. They look nice. I love the fact that they're on a nice big display. That's great. Notifications look good. And then you get to this, which is the apps launcher. That's not on by default. You have to go into Labs, turn that on, and then select which apps that you want to see. Pretty limited list to start. It has maps, which is good. I like to see that as we scroll through again, because apparently the timer is like 30 seconds. I like maps. Maps look good. Messages is good. You can respond to stuff. WhatsApp is fine. YouTube, if I'm sitting there watching YouTube, chances are I'm going to sit there and open up the device to get the better experience if I have time to sit there and watch a video. So it has WhatsApp and messages. But even though typing is okay now on the outer display of the Flip 5, that was never the purpose of it to me. I use it, and when I've had the Razr Plus, I use it more as a social media scroll, at a glance type stuff. Refresh that Facebook feed. Scroll through that Instagram feed real quick because I have a couple minutes. It's not a type out stuff experience, because if I have to do that, chances are I'm going to take the split second and open up the device and type on the bigger keyboard. So that's not what I feel like it's used for. Now, there is a way around that. You can install, but this is where it gets complicated. I don't like the fact that it's just not boot up, plug and play like the Razr Plus. You can go into the Samsung Galaxy Store, download GoodLock, which a lot of people are familiar with, especially if you like foldables, Samsung foldables. Download something called Multistar, which is in the store. And then when you do that, you get this GoodLock launcher that you could then add other apps to. So it's two pages, it's two panels, it's not the most intuitive process, and then you get kind of that Instagram experience and scroll experience, and it works well. I have no problem with it. It's not as good as the experience on the Razr Plus because of the size, because of the cutoff. You know, I like the fact that even though the Razr Plus has cameras, it kind of goes around that, and you could choose whether you want it to go above the camera cutouts so you could get kind of an uninterrupted experience, or if you wanted to go around the camera cutouts to get the extra space. So keep that in mind. It's good. It's better, certainly better than anything we've had on a flip device before. But right now, as it stands, by default, it's a little limited in my eyes. Okay, the other big thing that you're going to be asking about is the hinge. Again, like the Fold 5, it has a little bit of a gap here between the devices, so it doesn't close completely flat. But for our purposes, it's fine. It's flat. I like it. It's not lighter than the Flip 5. I don't know, maybe technically it is, but it doesn't feel like that in the hand. But you could tell it's a huge difference in width only because of that huge gap that you have on the Flip 4. So you are going to notice that it's a nice, thin, and compact device. It feels good in the hand. The one thing I was surprised by is, in addition to the flat hinge that they've put in it, they've changed the feel of the hinge again for a third consecutive year. It is not as industrial and solid as the hinge on the Flip 4. I'm sure they did that for a reason. I'm sure they've tested it to test durability, but it kind of is interesting because here the Flip 4 has varying levels of tension. It kind of breaks easily, which is nice because it allows for one hand kind of use there, but it breaks easily, and then you get to about here, and then there's more resistance, and then it closes. You don't really have that on the Flip 5. It's more solid, and I think a little bit more durable than the Razr Plus hinge. We're going to have a full comparison of those two devices. Tussle that subscribe button, by the way, if I keep showing up and recommended, so you could be notified of all these comparisons and when these videos come out. But it's more of an even, but it's a little looser. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Obviously, that's only something that time will tell as we go forward with the Flip 5, but just understand that, don't be totally concerned right off the bat. If you're used to a Flip 4 being having a little bit more tension, it's being a little bit looser on the Flip 5. Camera is the other big thing. Look at these shots. I like them. I think they've done enough camera-wise now on the tandem of the Flip 5 and Fold 5 to kind of at least mostly put to bed this idea that you can't have really good cameras on foldables. I thought it was nonsense to begin with. I liked my cameras on foldables going back to the Fold 2. I thought that had a really good camera. I like it. The shutter speed is lightning. It's liquid. It's really good. So if you're coming from you wouldn't be coming from an S23 Ultra, but if you've used those S-series devices in the past and you're used to a certain amount of shutter lag, that's not the case here. Really good, snappy performance in the camera app. No lag, no delay. I really just have overall enjoyed, I don't know why I didn't ask me that yesterday. I've enjoyed the experience, and you can see there, just kind of snapping away. That's what I've gotten. You can see in the images, good color, good depth. I like what the images on the Flip 5 provide. Battery life has been similar to the Flip 4. You'd expect that. The same platform, essentially, as the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. Seeing similar battery life between those two generations on multiple devices, especially on One UI 5.1 devices. So really no surprises there on battery life. Again, you're going to look at 6.5 hours, depending on how cautious you are with this device and brightness and your usage and how much time you spend on Wi-Fi versus 5G. Battery drain's been good, even on 5G. Have not noticed a significant amount. This has been off the charger since 8:30 this morning. Now we're looking at like 12:30. This is with use and being out and about on 5G all morning, and we're at 95%. So I really wouldn't worry too much about battery life like you had to with your Flip 3 devices way back in the day. Overall positive. I really like this form factor. This, to me, is, I think, what's going to be the winner. The Fold is nice. I love the Fold. If you're somebody who does online content creation, if you have a YouTube channel, if social media is your thing, or if you're web e-commerce, something like that, the Fold is great. It's like a tablet you're carrying around and managing your business in your pocket. But for everyday use, just a device that you're carrying around, I love the Flip form factor because of that compact nature of it. You get to just kind of flip it out into a regular slab form that we're used to. You get all the aspect ratios that you'd want from your favorite apps, but go ahead and knock it down into this. And now with the outer display, you can get some more functionality there. Not as good as the Razr Plus, but still a lot better if you want to be in the Samsung ecosystem that we're used to in the past. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve Lucius day.